My name is Leth Oun. I'm from Cambodia. I was born there. When I was born, my dad and my mom gave me soccer masad. Sok means Friday. Goma means a child or infant. Sat means one of the months in Cambodia. So that's what I put together, soccer masad. Of course, the last name's Oun. But because of communist, you can't have a long name. It looks more like entrepreneurs, look like you're educated or you like you're rich. So we changed that to Pru, which is just some name picked on the bucket, Pru. So, and then after that we went to third refugee camp, Thailand, Khmer Rouge. So they're trying to, what's your name? So my mom said, you know what, my dad's name's Sud. So I put me Leth, which is close. So it's spelling L-E-U-T-H. So my dad spelled S-E-U-T-H. That's one of my Facebook there. I use his name. So, but then, we didn't speak English. So my mom definitely not speak any English. So she went for interview. They asked, what's his name? I said, Leth. So that's how they spell it. And then ever since then, it's just, right, yeah. I said, you know what? Name change, no matter. As long as I live, to get my last name. Well, my last name is not even correct either. So the correct spelling of my last name is U-O-N. So they told Oun, that's how they spell it. Like, yeah, whatever, just get me out of here. That's one other thing, Yeah.
If you could describe your life journey in 3 words, what would they be?
Happy, dangerous, and difficult. Happy is I can have a freedom. I'm looking for freedom, and we don't have like back the Cambodian Killing Fields. You don't have to worry about going to work. Someone will shoot me, kill me, whatnot. So finding freedom is not always easy. It's difficult, and it's the same thing in America. How hard you want it, you have to work for it. Dangerous during your journey from Cambodia to Thailand. My mom and I went through a lot. Landmines, explosive, eat anything digestible, drink anything that is drinkable, like mud, snow filter waters, leave grass just to survive. So I always tell the story, one place we stopped with my mom and I, a few other people. We stopped at one of the lake, pond per se. We drank the water because the water was not disturbed, like clear, looked like it's really clean, but the lake water is not filtered water. And we drank, and I walked over the other side of the pond, and I see there's 3 almost like wood logs. But it turned out to be 3 bodies of a husband and wife and a child. Well, when I come here, I don't know anything about this country. All I heard, like, you can do, and you have the freedom, you can do what you want to. I know nothing about it. My first and most important in life is to learn English. And then as I go on to work, like in the book says, my first job was a dishwasher in a Chinese restaurant for $3.15. So I said, well, if I can make $3.15, why can't I try $4.15? So I kind of set up my goal, how far I can go. So like if I finish high school, let me try to college. 2 years, 4 years, and move on. So I always set up the next step, try to compete myself or try to challenge myself, see how far I can go. This is the reason I moved to South Philly, where my mom, when I came here, learned English, went to college. And that's why I moved over here, because I want to see my mom's happy. We have a Cambodian or Asian, we have a distinct culture. So most of people, it's not easy to learn a language. So that's why you see most people live together. But it's good to have people get together in a way, support each other. It's really good. My mom's, she was happy. In the morning, she got out of the house, sat there, she talked to people, watching my kids at the same time. It's hard to see, it's not hard, but it's happy to see people communicate each other in the way back before the war, It's good, and, it's getting a lot better. I mean, I left here 25 years ago, so just need someone there to help them out, to promote them, to support them, motivate all the kids. I went to CCP, get my associate from there. Well, I went to Montgomery College in Maryland, almost done there, but I moved to Philadelphia, South Philly, get my associate in CCP, and after CCP, I went to Weiner University, get my bachelor from there. I was criminal justice and sociology. The Secret Service, I heard of it, and that's because the job and the duty protect the most powerful people in the world. Never thought of it, could I become later on, 20 plus years later on, become a Secret Service. After graduating Weiner University, I went to work for probation, social worker. And then I worked for the Department of Justice, up 700 Arch Street. So after the 9/11, I went to a Army recruit base, want to volunteer to go to Afghanistan. But they looked at me, I'm in the middle of 30, 33, 34 already. They said, hey, work hard here. So I'll make fun of that. So I'm still waiting for that phone call 25 years later. And then there's the Secret Service came up. I don't really know exactly what it is or what it was. So I said, well, you know what, let me try. And I applied. When they called me for an interview, I said, listen, I wasn't born here. I was born in Cambodia, but I'm naturalized as a U.S. citizen. So they said, oh, okay, yeah, fine. As long as you are a U.S. citizen, you can apply, depending on what knowledge you have, passing tests and physical, all that. I always think a Secret Service, it's white guy, 6'3", body built, you know, comb hair, gel hair, like that. But so I did. I had to take written test a couple times, of course, you know. And then I passed 6-month training, and here I am. I get about 2 months to retire. What you don't know become hates, and hates become fear. When I started it, I'm like, again, I'm the first Cambodian ever. It's not easy to just go there, hey, you know. People look at it, who are you? And because at that time, when I talk, still do today, I have a thick accent. People look at you like, you know, they're like, how you get this job? You know, they always like, do you know anyone on a job? That's how I get. They never think I'm qualified to join, but I say, no, do everything I can. And some of those guys that used to be just my co-workers, they become really, really like a close friend, best friend, and some of them almost my families. You know, we do everything together, and then especially every 4 years, we were on the road. They looked after me, I looked after them. We kind of become, they understand each other down the road. So like, you know what, they look at you like, you know, I shouldn't trust you the way they said it. But now I trust you more than even some of my peers. So trusting, it's hard. You have to show it, you have to prove it. Because again, we Asian, or Cambodian for this matter, in this case, we have a distinctive look than anybody else. So an American, you know, black and white, you know. And we come an Asian, we have a distinctive look, the culture, the character, the personality are different from all of that. So thing, educate those people. It's one important thing. Let them, you know, who we are. And you have to teach a history about it, where you come from. Even until after the book came out. And people looked at it like, you know what, I heard the story, you told me a little about here, but they said, I never thought you went through all that. I said, well, you know, I'm here for a reason. I'm not just here to tell you a story. Most of the time they don't believe it. Some of them don't know what happens. Some of them, what's a killing field? So you have to teach them. You know. Typical day, it's pretty much security around the complex. And because the White House is where everybody wanted to be, and everyone wanted to join you, everyone wanted to test us all the time. So you all have your guards up at all times. Physically, probably it's not as hard. Mentally, it's a lot of challenges. So sometimes it's just boring day, you know. Sometimes, you know, the next thing it's time to go home, you know. So leave home at 3:20 or so, go to work out for an hour and a half, maybe it's 2 hours, depending on what I am doing that day, and then, you know, go on. So the Secret Service is like the whole different socioeconomic, different. It's it's hundreds of different personalities there. People are here together. People work together for one mission: it's to protect the President of the United States. So we work together whether we have differences background, whether we don't get along, whether we have, diverse, we don't like this person, but it comes to the point that we work together. We work, as we always said, our mission statement to protect presidents and the vice president's family or not. So that's our core goal there. I learned a lot of different things from different people. Like I said earlier, people from a different country, like, different background with completely opposite background, opposite personality. We understand each other along, as the day goes on. 1865, that's when the Secret Service created. So I was the first Cambodian ever joined since 1865. So what, over 50 years, roughly?
So you're the first ever?
The first Cambodian ever.
How many has joined after?
I'm sorry?
How many Cambodian Americans have joined after this?
I think there's probably 4 or 5. But like I said, they were born here, born in America, because their parents is Cambodian, but they're actually American Cambodian. I mean, they were born here. They really are American. They were born here, so, yeah. Of 4 presidents, I came on right. Bush Jr. came on, and right before he went for the second term, well, 2002. That's where it starts. So Bush Jr. and Obama, of course, Obama 8 years, and then Trump, and then now it's Biden. So Biden in my last president, 4 different presidents. He embraced it. He would make many more jumps, training as a paratrooper with expanding airborne battalion schooled by a French. In the late 1940s, he fought with French forces against the Khmer Rouge, a group of guerrillas blocked by Thailand who attempted to overthrow French rule. He jumped from planes with his rifle and engaged in many gun battles.
And I'm a writer. I'm the co-author of Leth Oun's book, A Refugee's American Dream, From the Killing Fields of Cambodia to the U.S. Secret Service. Prior to that book, I published 3 novels, or it's a journalist and a writer at Rutgers University. It was really like a chance meeting. I mean, I always think like fate is involved in meeting a lot. It was 12 years ago, and it was in the summer 2011 at Widener University. And Leth, stayed in touch with a lot of his professors, and there was a sociology professor there, Vernon Smith, who Leth would go speak to his classes. Just out of courtesy and Leth coming back to campus. And Vernon brought him over and said, hey, here's somebody you should write a profile about. And I said, hey, sit down, I'll talk to you. And oftentimes people would show up and they would want to tell me their stories, but I never had anybody who was a Killing Fields survivor who became a Secret Service officer just sit down and this story just blew me away of all the things that he had survived and then what he'd become. I mean, he was protecting, handling a bomb detection dog that protected President Obama and other people. And I wrote a magazine article for the Widener magazine that I had about 800 words to try to tell this amazing life story. And I didn't think I did a very good job with it. But fortunately, Leth liked the story a lot. He got extra copies and we stayed in touch. And he told me at that time, because I want to write a book about my life and I'm trying to get started. And I said, well, you certainly should. But I was working on a novel and I had a job and my daughter was young. So I didn't think I would be the right person to do it.
Thai refugee camps in the 80s. Fortunate to have returned vivid of torturous 3 years, 8 months, and 10 days in Khmer Rouge killing fields, and a year of homeless that follows. So much has changed in my life since. I am an American citizen, a college graduate, a father, and officers in U.S. Secret Service uniformed divisions.
So the fact that he wrote this much in English, and some of the stories were incredible. So went back and we did hundreds of hours of interviews, and then I would write drafts. We went back and forth. So it ended up being 110,000 words. So it more than doubled. And that's how we came up with this book, and thankful that Temple University Press published it. And
This book, it's four things. One, to educate people what had happened in Cambodia, and hopefully most of Cambodian children and family read it. It's passing on the history that happens. If I don't do it, probably somebody will, but it's mostly about the history of Cambodia. Number two, motivate people, not just Cambodia alone. Again, came here with nothing to be next to the most powerful people. And number three of that is the funds, the proceeds we go to help Cambodians kids at home, build a school maybe renovate the bathroom, get some clean water. That's the whole idea about writing a book. I don't write a book to be rich. If someone pick up to make a movie, maybe right now. And number four is the love of a mother's love between the mother and I. So,
and I'll say, I've talked a lot about it since the book came out. And people, you can see them think Cambodia, what happened there? And so I think we're educating people about the Cambodian culture. Leth's book's also inspiring. I think if you're having a bad day or having a hard time, when I was working on the book, and if I was struggling with it or having, I think, I'm sitting here in an office with a hot cup of coffee, and it's soft and easy, and the air conditioning's comfortable. Think about what he went through. So
I traveled to Cambodia with the contingents of the fellow Secret Service officers and agent on C-17 military cargo planes. We are going home, and I'm proud to do so. That was, I would say, like everything happened recent. Like me, who to think me from that country, Cambodia, come here, work for Secret Service, go back the first time, and Obama, the first sitting president, go back Cambodia. I'm on a job, one with him, So got in there, I kind of long, I couldn't rest, I couldn't sleep in the airplane because, I can't wait to see my own, after 30 plus years, left the country. Got up there when the C-17 military cargo opened up. I was kind of scared to get out, like somebody's going to shoot me because, back then when I left, there's gunfights all the time everywhere. Came out there, look left, look right, it's hot, humid, and smell like Cambodia, And the dusty, humidity's high, and my dogs look at me, and they're sitting there like, hey, you gonna take me out, or you gonna let me sitting there, So I look around and, look at that, what? This is 2000, it's not 75 anymore. And even those coming back, the whole thing was shocking me, But I'm glad to be back home after 34 years, 33 years. So it's shocking. Going back, what? After the wars, everything being rebuilt and slowly, and it's getting a lot better now. So Salamachin was a school I went to before the war, and Salah Salho, which is next to it, that's where they held my father. So I talked to them what I want to do to renovate the bathroom, take boys and girls somewhat decent, because I want to look at it. I said, this is start a hygiene for the children, and then maybe filter waters for them to drink. And after that, thinking me and my co-author Sam probably do the library, build a library, maybe set up a few computers, some more resource for them. Maybe we have some part-time tutors teach them English. So that's my goal. Start with that first, and depending, like I said, how much funds I can get on people. We haven't get a account for say yet. We're still working on it.
I think there are a couple of one thing I really admire Leth for, because there's so much detail in this book. So we had to go back through painful memories and things that he hadn't really talked a lot about, and like what happened on this. He talks about seeing his father for the last time before he's executed, and he never once complained. He went through it, and he feels, and I'm glad he does, that telling this story is important to educate people, about what happened, but also to to remember the people who didn't make it, like his father and many others. He had aunts and uncles, people who he knew and loved.
I could recognize my father from a far distance simply by watching him take a single step. He stood about 5 feet, 7 inches tall, and had a short, thick black hair. He walks with his fists clenched, his elbows bent sharply as he brought his powerful arms up in his time. His strides were rigid and purposeful, a gait he had learned when he was a soldier in his teens. He held his back armrod straight and his shoulders high and kept his head very still. His dark eyes looking ahead. He was been in the army for so long that he marched everywhere. Even when he's not wearing his green officer uniform, he marched. He marched when he could have relaxed. That's what a lifetime of war does to a man. I think he's had a big influence on me. Besides, back then, in our society, patriotic, which is male-dominated society anyway. And when he joined the army, and he didn't make a kind of money, he told me, like, Dad's son, don't become like me, meaning gun carrier, you know. You do something's better, be a doctor or something, a surgeon, something. You don't have to do physical, you don't have to take your risk. Your life is, you know. But here I am, you know. Come here and serve the country in different ways, you want to say it, you know. It's a front line, it's, you know, protect the, it's run down in the blood, I guess you want to call that. So, like I said, Secret Service, I never think of I become a Secret Service, yeah. So he wants me to be a lawyer or sergeant doctor, but you know, people go to Arlington National Cemetery, Lena Reese, call the names like that. I said, you know, I can't even say, hey, Dad, thanks for your service. I couldn't even find his remain. I don't know where it's at. So I'm sure he's going to be proud of me. Like, you know what? You know, he probably going to take the credit. He's going to say, I'm glad you take my voice.
You know, the another thing in the book that really sticks with me is how much, like, his, you know, the love he has for his mother and father, and then how his mother, their relationship, how she, after the father was executed at the very beginning of the Killing Fields period, how she looked after him and cared for them, and you know, she was willing to die or give up her own life for her children, and then that you know, that she stayed on, came over with Leth, and, you know, lived to be 101. I mean, her story is remarkable. I mean, it's hard to talk about this book in a short period of, we've done a lot of book events, and, you know, you don't want to talk for much more than 45 minutes or an hour. And
my mom, who worked as a seamstress and roller of cigarettes, told me that one time when I was born, he was away fighting in the jungle for so long. She thought he was dead. She had given up hopes and had resigned herself to being a widow. But then one day, he came home. She, the most supporters of all, whatever I asked, you know, this is what I'm gonna do, she always like, you like it, you love it, do it, you know, yeah. Mom's always a big supporter. She passed away in 2018. It was a rough year, and then my working dog died on 9/11, so it was a rough year for me. My working dog is like the family of us. We travel a lot together. It's more like a family member, like a son, like a brother, you know.
And what was the work dog name?
The dog, my working dog's named Reich. Right, he's bilingual.
Yeah.
He's bilingual, and yeah. And lives in Khmer, and he lived almost 17 years, you know, before he died. So it's really good life for him to be a working dog 17 years. Yeah, for life. We took care of him like as family members. We don't treat any different. I had to convert one of my closet to be his bedroom. You know, I get the beds and everything there. So it lives good. It lives good. When we go somewhere, we call it sweep. Okay, sweep meaning, you know, secure. So Khmer called het. You know, het, then he goes. And then if I would stay in one room, I told left, which means Chaiya, he would go Chaiya. And I told right, which means he'd go right. Most of my commands while I was at work's always Cambodian. And job security, nobody can take him because he's bilingual, you know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's absolutely a one-of-a-kind story, and certainly and the first of its kind. And you know that you don't come across that many stories that you can't find somebody somewhat similar somehow. And it's an incredible journey that he's gone on, and the only one of its kind that I know.
Take your step, one step at a time. And like you said earlier, we all Asian, but Asian divides so many different countries. Cambodians have another distinctive culture than Vietnamese or Chinese. You have to teach your cultures. Learn it from your parents and teach them and get it out there. Say, this is my country. We went through a lot of war, we went through many invasions. Genocide happened. Almost 2 million Cambodians died from the Killing Fields, the communists. You have to teach them and teach them the right way. Don't go there and try to force them. You know, people, first of all, they look at you. Sometimes they don't want to listen to you. You know, like I said, you got to establish, make them trust you, make them learn from you, lesson them in a way that, you know, maybe not all at once. It could have been just any dinner or table, something. Hey, you know, this is my country, this history. This is what my country makes who I am today. My parents went through a lot more than me, but they taught me and make me who I am today. So education is the most important thing. Yeah. You know, pretty much lazy. Don't be lazy. Work hard, you know, you get somewhere.
That's something your mom told you?
Yeah. She said it all the time, and you know, Cambodian have a book too, so it's pretty much in there too. She's quoted out there, you know. Yeah. I have 2 kids. My son, he's 35, he's gonna be 36 soon, and my daughter Jennifer is 30. So, you know, we bought out a house. My daughter, you know, she had fiancé, thinking about getting married. I said, listen, you decide your own life. I have nothing to oppose you, whatever. You're old enough, and do what you think is right. Sometimes life is not even the first choice, you know, but you make your own decision, you know. They actually read, my daughter just finished my book too. It's like, oh my God, I didn't know you went through all that. It's my own kids. But every chance they get me back. So, you know, one day I was walk up without shoes to pick up the mail. You know, it was cards, you know, kind of limping. And then, you know, my son are like, well, look at him. He told her he's walking a jungle bare feet. He can't walk 10 yards to pick up the mail. So that's just how it is. I mean, you know.